I have knitting that I am wearing. I'm actually re-recording this section because I totally forgot that I probably ought to share it. I was very proud to put it into my show notes. Hello, my name is Michelle and this is Michelle's Fiber Studio podcast. Today is Wednesday, October 23rd, and this is episode number 66. Well, hello. It has been a couple of weeks. I actually had show notes all typed out last week, and I had a really rough day at work, and I came home and took a nap. So actually on my drive home from work, I decided, you know what, I am not even gonna try it because I'm just not feeling it, and that's a-okay. So it's been a couple of weeks. I have, let's see, a finished object on my blocking board. I have some updates on some projects and a little bit of life stuff too that's happened. Nothing super exciting, but just, you know, kind of a little check-in at the end of the podcast. It's sunny right now. It was actually pouring buckets earlier today. I had to run out with a friend of mine for a quick errand, and we were driving back and the skies just opened, and which is why my hair is a little flatter than it was before I went out. But it's kind of this back and forthness that we have here in, in Maine. I talk about it all the time. So, but let me I have knitting that I am wearing. I'm actually re-recording this section because I totally forgot that I probably ought to share it. I was very proud to put it into my show notes. So I have two knitted objects. I'll stand up. So I know you're probably not gonna see, but I am wearing my Boxy, which is by Locatelli. I knit this, where is it in my notes? Started it on May 8th of 2024, and I finished it on September 12th of that same year. It is knit out of Wonderland Yarns Mad Hatter in the Jub Jub Bird colorway. And then I've started pulling out some of my shawls too, which has been super fun. I love this time of year for that. And this is the Feel the Breeze shawl by Jennifer Weissman. And this yarn is by Miss Babs in her Yummy 2-ply. It is Tempo and Porto. So Tempo is the darker blue, and then all of the colors were a kit that was called Porto. So I love how it matches my sweater. And there's actually, so you get some purples in here that really pick up the sweater. So I like to wear this combo together. So yeah, I knit the shawl, Feel the Breeze. I started it in February of 24 and I finished it the middle of June. So it took me about 4 months, but as I recall, I had a lot of other projects going on then. So I think it kind of got set to the side. And that happens with a lot of my projects. If you look at my start and finish dates, they don't really reflect how long it actually takes to knit the project because I don't work on them exclusively. So whatever, for what it's worth, that's how long it took me. So with that, how about we dive in with my finished object? I have something on my blocking board. Well, not technically on my blocking board because it's not getting blocked, but it is a finished object. It is my Gnumpkin, and if you are doing the mystery gnome along for the month of October, then I suggest you skip ahead to the next section. I don't want to show this off if you don't want to be spoiled, so here's your warning, but look at Gnumpkin. Oh my goodness, he's so cute. Look at his little feet. So he'll sit on a shelf and the feet will kind of dangle a little bit. I kind of goofed, and one foot started with one color or one foot started with the other, but I've decided I don't care. It adds to Gnumpkin's little charm. If I get to it, I might spritz his hat a little to kind of make it lay a little flatter, or not. But anyway, this is Gnumpkin. Gnumpkin is the pattern by Schira, and it is a mystery gnome along for the month of October. And so I started Gnumpkin on October 3rd and I finished him last night. So I'm pretty pleased, and the last clue came out on Monday, so I was only really a day behind on finishing him. So super thrilled with that. I cannot wait to bring him to work and set him in my office. I have not yet decided if he is going to live on my desk or if I'm gonna put him on one of my bookcases. Probably one of my bookcases. I don't have a ton of extra space on my desk. And actually, if I have him on the bookcase, then I can have him sitting kind of on the edge so his feet can dangle, and it'll be super cute. I think the kids are gonna get a kick out of that one. So I knit it out of some of the Jaeger spun heather that I purchased from Martin's there a few weeks back. So Flamin' Redwood, and then his beard was done with some Knipex palette that I had kicking around. So super cute, super fun. But yeah, that is my finished object for the week. In my project bag, what shall I start with? I know, how about, oh, it's behind me. It's getting big, and I've been using this is my Northeasterly. Oh, I'm loving this blanket so much. So the pattern is by Katy Stevens. This is the blanket that I have been knitting all year long with yarn from Wool and Woman's Fibers. And I have a lot to show you. Remember, I believe last time I podcasted, I had challenged myself to finish the last 8 colors over the Columbus Day weekend. And I think I got all but 1 color done, as I recall. So I was really close. I was trying to do 2 a day, and there was one day I only got 1 in, and I just didn't get to do it as a 3rd color on one of the days, but I think I did it on Tuesday. But I have a ton that I finished. So where did I leave off? Let's start there. Oh, way down here. So yeah, so here is this purple. I guess I'll give you a little spoiler. So I finished all of August colors, and I only have 3 colors for September left. So I've been working on this a lot. Probably kind of to the detriment of some of my other projects, as you'll see. So, all right, so I got blue here, green, and this cream with some green speckles. You're getting a little sneak peek of my other colors too as I'm going through here. Another really bright green, oh my goodness. And I have a fish tank, so with the blue lights at night, that green, it just really pops and is fluorescent actually. And then for the September colors, I started this color. So this is a full, I don't know, what are these called? Chevron set. This one I did 2/3 of it, and I'll do the last third at the end. That's how I'm kind of getting a staggered look. But then I got this color, blues, and pink. And, oh my goodness, this is so heavy. There we go, blue-green, solid. And then my last color. I'm sorry if I ran through those really fast. Ooh, my arms hurt. And then my last 3 colors are these right here. And then of course I gotta come back in and do the 3 more, well 6 rows actually, but 3 repeats of the first color. And then I have my October colors. Look how fun is that? Very fall, kind of almost a Thanksgiving vibe. And if I go back to the very beginning of the blanket, it's gonna be a really nice parallel. So these colors here on the end are what I started with in the month of November. So won't that be a fun bookmark on either side? So I'm not gonna put a timeline, but I'm really pushing. I'm ready to be done with this project, I'll be honest, but I'm just ready to be done with it. Like I wanna really fully use it and enjoy it. And yeah, so we'll see. I will definitely finish those last 3 colors in the next couple of days. How deep in I will get into October's colors. I don't think I can quite say by the end of October, but man, that would be super cool if I could have this done by next Friday. So 10 days, 15 colors. I mean, in theory I could. So we'll see. Well, I'm not gonna set a deadline, but I would say in the next 2 weeks, I should have this completed. I think that's probably a fair thing to push for. And then I got this super cute little pin in the final package, and it just says the hashtag let the mystery unravel Mal 2025. So I could put that, I don't know what I'll do with it, where I'll stick it, but that was something that came in the packaging. So yeah, that is the update on my blanket. I've been very excited to share that because of all the progress that I got done on that one. All right, let's take out my cowl, and it's Rhythm in the Needles, I believe. Yep, by Jess Knits Design. This is my brioche cowl. Oops, don't take the yarn out too. Just the project. This got a little bit of love in the last couple of weeks, not a ton, but that's okay. It's, you know, it's just not been a priority project, but I got something done. So there I was. So that was like, what, an inch and a half? That's probably a good 2 inches actually. So I think I'm going for, as I recall, like 8.5 inches. Do I have a tape measure back here? Oh, I don't. Oh, no, I do. Nope, I don't. Okay, well, I won't measure it right now. I'm not sure what this measures, but that's okay. Did I throw one in the bag? Nope, not there either. That wouldn't be a bad idea though. I think I will throw one in the bag. So at any rate, this is my brioche cowl. It is super, super squishy. And of course with brioche, you have one side that really shows off one yarn, and then the other side shows off the other yarn. So I'm using yarn from Hope Knit Fibers. I had got in, or Hope Knit Yarns rather, I had got in February at the spa event. So these are my two colors, Beat It, I think, and Roller Rink or something like that. I got the tags here. So yeah, so here's the Hope Knit Yarns. Yep, and Beat It and Roller Rink. And it is her Jimmy sock base, which is a 75-25 blend. They were 50-gram minis that I purchased. So that is that project. All right, last project, I'm gonna give you another spoiler warning, is my West Knits Make Along Mystery MusiKAL. That said, today is Wednesday and Clue 4 is about to be released tomorrow, and I have only gotten like 3 rows into Clue 2. So that's where I'm at. I'm gonna show you my completed Clue 1 and the very, very beginning of Clue 2. Well, more than 3 rows. I have gotten, you'll see, into the second color. It's a bunch of repeats, but anyway. So that is your warning. Can skip ahead to the next segment, but I am gonna show you what I have. It just hasn't been a priority project for me, and I'm okay with that. I had a little bit of frustration with the ending of this clue, I will totally acknowledge, but there we go. Look how fun it is. I'm really enjoying it though. I have to say, I am kind of liking this combo of colors. So Clue 1 ended at the top of this peach column on each of the scallops. And Clue 2, what I have done is it starts on this side. So you got the width of one color and then a yellow eyelet section, and then I'm gonna do, it's gonna be segments of the stripes of the different colors. What I have chosen to do is to hold my mohair with, it's the color that's in between, not the eyelet section, but the garter section. Let's see, so it would be this color right here. That's what I'm choosing to hold the mohair with in this section, and then this green, which is this right here, is gonna be its own stripe without the mohair. And so it's gonna stand out a little differently, and I think that'll be super fun. So you do rows of short rows. So if I go to the very other side of it, you can see how there's a lot less of that green stripe here. And it alternates with the yellow eyelet section. So that is that. The yarn that I am using is my Yarnables yarn in a bunch of different colorways. Do I have them? So I have Guava Cream Macaron, Wings of Renewal, Straighten Your Crown, and Rest, Relax, and Recharge. So, and then I'm using some leftover mohair from last year's make-along. So once I get my blanket done, I think this will kind of slide into a little bit more of a priority position. But I am having fun with it when I pull it out, but I'm just kind of really got some different focuses and different priorities. I was also trying to finish my Gnumpkin, so it just didn't get the priority. So that's where my projects are for this week. Day. All right, let me see. I have notes. Good thing I have notes because I don't know if I could think back that far. But going back almost, well, yeah, just about exactly 2 weeks to Thursday, which would have been the day after I recorded, was the adoption day for my good friends and their foster daughter, who is now officially their daughter. It was so special. You may recall that I had knit a little sweater for that little girl, and my best friend actually put her in the sweater for the adoption ceremony, so it was very sweet. I gave it to her with that possibility, knowing that she might want to do that, but I had no illusions or expectations, and I told her that right up front, like, you know, here, if you want it for then, that's fine. It's an adoption gift. She doesn't have to wear it that day, but just in case you wanted her to, I thought I'd give it to you ahead of time. And then she wore it to church this last Sunday. It fits her perfectly. So I'm so stoked. That was super fun. It was just a great event. After the adoption, there was probably about 25 of us in the courtroom. And then we all reconvened over at our church, and we did this great party. And it was a great day. Super awesome. The next day was Friday, and that was technically our teacher's workshop day, but we get it as a comp day because in a couple of weeks we will have parent-teacher conferences that keep us at the school until 8 o'clock. So I had the day off, and I had a day just for me. I slept in, and I did a bunch of knitting and TV watching, and it was awesome. It was awesome. I really just took my time with the day. I think I might have even taken a nap if I remember correctly, but it was awesome. It was just something that I really needed. So a really great thing. And then the rest of the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday was Columbus Day, was more of the same. My husband actually had to work on Saturday and part of Sunday. He works for another school department in a neighboring city, actually it's about half an hour away, but and he works in their IT department, maintaining their school networks across the district. And they were deploying some devices and stuff, and so he was home, but he was working like all day on Saturday from like 7 until I think he finished at 6:30 that night. Actually, we didn't even go visit my mother-in-law until Sunday evening. And then he had to continue on Sunday morning. So Saturday, again, it was much of the same. I did a little bit of chores, a few little things, but it was another day of just really taking it slow. On the Monday, he was off. And I had intentions of doing more knitting than I did, but we ended up setting up the second guest room. We had a little bit more organizing to do, but we've got that room completely set up. We kind of went through some things, and so now it's just more kind of all those boxes that I've been referring to all summer that have been kind of here, there, and everywhere. Now things are at least organized, and we just have to kind of go through boxes, but the rooms themselves are set up. So I feel really great about that. This past weekend, We got bedding, so which I actually still have to put on the bed, but I got bedding for both of the beds so I can make them up so the rooms are ready for guests. So that's really kind of what I have wanted. So that was good. Tuesday, so a week ago, this past Tuesday was a really special day because we had some dinner with some longtime friends who live out of state. So I have some mutual friends who live about an hour south of me, and these mutual friends came and stayed at their house. They're from Minnesota, and they're a couple that we first met in 2002 when I was more actively doing the rubber stamping and had earned some cruises, and we cruised together. So we were placed at the dinner table together and we just hit it off. And since then, us women who are with Stampin' Up! Have done a lot of traveling together when we've gone to conferences, or in the past when we had gone to conferences, we would hang out together, we'd even room together. Like, we just got really, really close. And then after that initial cruise, we did I think there was like 5 or 6 years in a row where we were cruising together. So I hadn't seen them, I think it was 2018 is what we said. I think it was 2018 was the last time that I had seen them. So it was really great. They flew to Maine and spent 5 days in Maine. And so we drove down. I drove down a little earlier, actually with another mutual friend who lives kind of more in my area, and hung out together. And then after my husband finished work, he joined us, and then we all went to dinner. It was the 4 of us couples. We went to a Longhorn and had dinner together, and then, came home after that. But it was just it was a really great day. I actually left work a little bit early, got permission to scoot out around 1 o'clock so that I could really maximize the time with my friends. So that would have been all the notes that I had last week had I actually podcasted, and I only have 2 more bullets for my day-to-day stuff because I really, honestly, the rest of the week was boring. There wasn't a lot that happened. Over the weekend we did go, we went and visited my mother-in-law and did groceries, like we did the normal stuff, right? But nothing extraordinary. Monday, I have joined at my gym. They have started a nutrition accountability group. So I have decided to join that. So the first meeting was on Monday. It is at 8 o'clock Monday evenings over Zoom, actually Google Meets. And I think it's going to be really interesting. There was about 20 of us on the group, and we are really looking at like our identity. Like, I want to be somebody who exercises 3 days a week. I identify, that kind of a thing, rather than strictly goal setting. Because if we identify as somebody who, like a smoker, you got somebody who identifies as a non-smoker, as the example he used. Somebody who identifies as a non-smoker as opposed to somebody who is trying to quit smoking. If somebody offers those 2 people a cigarette, the person who's trying to quit is going to say, no, I'm trying to quit. Whereas the non-smoker will say, no, I don't smoke. And it's a very different kind of mentality. And the non-smoker is going to be way more successful in not having that cigarette than the person who is trying to quit. So where that is less of an identity issue and more something that they are doing, if that makes any sense. So there was a lot of that kind of conversation this past week. It's going to be 8 weeks of education. So we are going to get into nutrition. We are going to get into that kind of a thing. And then it's going to actually be an ongoing kind of like check-in accountability group. So I'm pretty excited, actually. I have started thinking about, we have homework. So I've been starting to think about kind of some of the goals that I want to set and the things that I want to do, and new habits that I want to create. I have decided I need to go to bed earlier. I've been one who will go to bed somewhere between, I head upstairs somewhere 10:15, sometimes pushing it a little bit, usually around 10 I would think about going up, but then by the time I would get in bed and I get situated and I would read a little bit or whatever, it would be like 10:30, 10:45, 11 o'clock. And then my alarm goes off at 5:15. So I was really probably getting only closer to 6 hours of sleep. So what I've been really trying to do since the weekend is start heading upstairs around 9:15 so that I can be in bed at 9:30 so that I can hopefully be sleeping somewhere around 10 o'clock. Hasn't worked perfectly, but it's at least a start. And I figure if I can start these little habits, hopefully they'll build on each other. So that's kind of cool, something I'm looking forward to. And then, I mean, the only other interesting thing is yesterday we lost power. My understanding is that there were trees that came down, but it took out power at school 10 minutes or 15 minutes before dismissal, which is always really interesting. Because when we lose power, we lose our intercom access, which means we are trying to dismiss 500 kids without actually effectively being able to tell them that they can now leave the building. So I was stationed in the upstairs hallway with a radio, and our team leaders all had radios, and we were communicating that way. It actually went quite smoothly. I don't think, excuse me, to my knowledge, we had any kids left behind, which was always a great thing. And yeah, the kids actually did a really good job of paying attention and listening and doing what needed to happen. So that really is, not a big thing, but something interesting that I had to deal with. So, all right, that I believe is everything for this week. I thank you so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe so you know when I post something new. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram when I post as Knittin Michelle, KNITTINMICHELLE. You can also send me an email at michellesfiberstudiopodcast@gmail.com. With that, and I will have links down below in the show notes for all the things that I have talked about and all of my project pages and all the things. So with that, I hope you have a fantastic week and happy knitting.